Okay, hello there everyone. Take my glasses off. Hey, my name is Carlos Ray, and I am an amateur chef. But actually I've written a cookbook. I wrote a family cookbook. I love to cook. I've been cooking for 40, 50 years, ever since I graduated from college. I like to carry on the family recipes that I'm used to eating. So over the years, I've learned them all, and actually improved on some of them. And today we're going to do a paella. It's pretty much a Spanish paella, but it's kind of a hybrid paella. I learned from my father mostly and my mother, and it's got South American twist, but it's also been Americanized a little bit because I live in California. I live in Southern California, Orange County to be exact. So I like, seafood. I'll use the process. This is a delicious dish. You can't buy this dish in a restaurant because it really takes an hour and a half to 2 hours to do it correctly. The restaurant paellas that are served, most people don't like paella because they've had it in restaurants and it's just not right. You can't get the rice, the moisture content right. You can't get the flavors to blend in 20 minutes or whatever, 45 minutes. You can't do it. So the way I'm showing you is a stovetop version. There's other versions. I'm not using the flat paella pan. I have one of those, and it works pretty well, the traditional paella pan, but I like to make it in a deeper pan and get it more moist and get a little more of it. I like to make at least 4 to 6 servings when I make it. Today we're probably making about 6 servings. So here we go. Now these are our basic ingredients we're going to use today. Paellas are kind of fun because you can modify them any way you want. But they always have seafood and chicken and even some pork. You can put anything you want in them, just make them to your taste. But you do have to have saffron. This is a tin of saffron, high grade saffron. I bought this at the Indian store. This lasts me about 5 years this much. I'm about halfway through it. Don't need a lot of that, but we have some chopped onions and peppers and things. I have this up that I already made up earlier, left over from another dish I made. And here's our chicken. I like to use chicken in the bone. Some people won't eat chicken with bones in it or any meat with bones in it. I don't get that. As if they have evolved beyond our current human carnivore status. I mean, come on. Bone in the chicken, that's like, come on. It tastes much better. Anyway, that's my feeling about bone in the chicken. And here we have some large clams. The smaller clams actually taste better. I used to use the larger clams because they look great. I couldn't find small ones this time. These are about mediums. And they're okay, but I'm telling you, the small clams are the best. I think they're from the East Coast. These mussels, they're from Canada. They're okay. The best mussels are the green lip mussels from New Zealand. And those are hard to come by. These are Canadian, but stay away from California mussels. People don't understand what that Fukushima thing is doing to us. Anyway, here's some medium to large scallops. These are fresh. They haven't been frozen. You can buy frozen ones, doesn't matter. Here we have some pre-cooked shrimp tail off. Those are medium. If you like large, fine. I think these taste better. You have some minced garlic, olive oil, some olives if you like olives. And you can, add artichokes and other things. And like I said, you can add like ground pork. You kind of chop up, like you could chop up Italian sausage or get ground pork, and brown that. And I sometimes do that too. But here's what we're doing today. It's pretty simple. And okay, now we're going to start cooking. Here we have a pan. I kind of preheated it. First thing we're going to do, because I'm using scallops, here's some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. The old startup, that's always pretty common. We want to take these scallops and we want to sear those scallops. We want to sear them. Oh, that was a little too hot, but that's okay. That'll cool off. And we want our garlic in there. Don't be shy with the garlic. And right away you start getting, your smell that you like and all that. So yeah, we're getting these things seared. You can see them getting a little bit brown there. And two things I forgot to show you on the ingredients was the rice, which of course there's rice, you know. We've got rice also, and then I also use beer instead of water with the rice. We'll get into that later. Now, this paella is going to be awesome. I mean, when you get this paella done right, there's nothing better. And it took me about 10 or 15 years to get this paella the way I got it now. Probably a good time to throw in the mix, you know. Some people call that the Holy Trinity, you know. And we want to get that flavor going. Another thing I do right now, while the scallops are browning, is I start adding saffron. And the reason I do that, I start adding stuff, is I want to break that saffron down, and I want that saffron flavor to get into pretty much everything. So you kind of get little bits of it like that, and then you crumble it in your fingers and you spread it around. That's all right there. That's a lot right there, actually. We'll put a little bit more in later, not much. That's a lot of flavor right there for saffron. Now you can salt and pepper. You can salt and pepper to your own taste. I don't salt any of this stuff because my wife and I have to stay away from salt. There's some pepper right there. You can salt and pepper though, and this depends on where you're at on your health and what you can do with salt. But a lot of these ingredients are pretty salty on their own. Like seafood, of course, is just salty, you know, like the shellfish. Anyway, another thing I do, another little trick I have here is we're doing the browning of the scallops. I put all the meat on the bottom, and then as you see through the process, I put the rice on top of the meat. And there's a reason for that, and I'll tell you that in a minute. Get that chicken kind of brown too. So we want that to sit there. I turned up the temperature a little bit. So we want to brown that chicken, and it's probably a good idea to season that chicken a little bit. You can pre-season it, rub it, whatever, but you don't want to overwhelm the flavors you're going to get from the saffron and mixing these ingredients. It's just a tiny bit of salt on the chicken. The thing is going to be full of flavors just with the saffron and the stuff we're using. You know, there's another ingredient I didn't show you. And that's right here. We're going to add these mixed vegetables, some of this to the rice, you know, in about the middle of the process. So that's another ingredient. Now this is nice. You can see we're getting that orange color from the saffron. The scallops are nice and brown. Look at that. You should smell this here. I wish I could put the smell on the camera, you know. One of these days they're going to have that technology where you watch your TV and you smell what's going on there. Could be good or bad though, huh? In this kitchen it'd be a good thing. But there it is, you know. Everything's starting to get brown. We're on the bottom here. You don't have to cook everything through because it's going to cook. We're going to finish cooking this when we seal it up and get the rice in and everything. So right now we're at a point where we can probably add, we can add the shrimp. We'll add the shrimp. And we'll let that get some of that flavor going, you know, some of that saffron and whatnot. And olives. Now I'm going to do the rice. Here's how I do the rice. I just kind of, you don't need a lot of rice. I don't know how much this is. It could be a cup and a half. Cup and a half or 2 cups. It's not 2 cups. It's about a cup and a half. So, because it's all going to kind of rise. We've got shells to put on here. I don't want to put too much rice because it'll get over the top. I'm not one of those cooks who measures the crap out. You know, I'm not a baker. I'm just a cook. You know, I throw things together by feel, and I've done this so many times. I know what it should look like to get the right results. And the key to paella is the moisture content. You know, and I've learned that with this process, one beer is all I need to add. We're getting moisture from what's already there, you know, the food, and we're getting moisture from these vegetables. So there's all kinds of added moisture in here. That rice is going to be very moist. I don't put a lot of vegetables like that much. So that's how we, you know, then I have this like this, see, and then I'll add the beer. My wife's rolling around in here. Hey, bring Sophia in here, show my little helper.
Oh, Sophia, come in and see what Grandpa's doing.
And so I put the beer in like this. Like I said, I'm trying to keep the rice on top of the meat. And the reason for that is we don't want the rice to burn on the bottom. So then you got to control your temperature. Temperature control is real important. Got to have enough temperature to cook, but not enough to burn. So come on over here, Sophia. This is my little helper, Sophia. Let's get a little shot of Sophia, my granddaughter. And she knows all about this stuff. She could probably make this by herself.
No, I couldn't.
You can? Oh, well. We'll get her there someday.
That's right.
So, yeah, she's our eldest granddaughter. She's a real gem. And then we love her to death. And so, yeah, so I put the beer in there and I kind of just let everything blend again and mix it in. And so we're getting, this is almost done, by the way. And so we'll let that like this.
What are you making?
Oh, we're making the paella. This is really delicious. Anyway, then the last thing we do, we're gonna do, see, we have these shells. And so I got these clams, and we want to make it pretty, right? So I put them like this, and I think I have 6 clams. We'll spin them around like this, and then we have these Canadian mussels. I'll just put them right in the middle. Sometimes I'll make them pretty. This is fine, just like this. And so it's, you know, it's kind of pretty, right? Doesn't that look scrumptious? So that's pretty much it. Now we're gonna let this go for like 2 hours at medium to low temperature. So we don't want that bottom to burn. But that meat's on the bottom, so that's okay if that gets a little crispy. But you don't want the rice to burn. And we're going to get a perfect moisture content thing here with that 1 can of beer. So that's how that works. We'll come back when it's done. When the shell's open like that, pretty close to done. But let it go about 2 hours at very low heat. Very low heat. Once the shell's open, put it at very low heat and let it go for a total of 2 hours. Make sure that chicken's really falling off the bone and everything's blended real well. So there it is. It smells good. Yeah. There we are. Paella.